Are you like this 24 hours a day?
Tammie has always been known as a high-concept character.
I'm Tammie Brown, and I'm going to spin your head round and round.
Tammie Brown. And Tammie, I understand you are unapologetically queer. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm a queer icon, actually. But I do come from the days, and I do come from the days when queer used to be an insult.
Exactly right. And that's why we do the play on words of unapologetic for the word. Tammie is coming to you right now from Provincetown, backstage getting ready to do a show. And so we thank you for the time. I want to remind everybody, as everybody knows, I've been a fan and intimately involved with many, many, many of the queens at RuPaul's Drag Race. Tammie Brown is a fun performer. Let me show you an example from her TikTok. Watch this.
Well, hi. I'm sick of common questions. Yes, common questions such as cashiers will ask you normally. Do you have any plans for this evening? Yes. I'm gonna find 2 college co-ed girls, disembowel them. Yes, I did say disembowel. Then I'm gonna go sip a glass of champagne. Is that a good answer? By the way, I don't like wearing white fingernails. I think they're ugly, but they do match my polka dots. Stupid questions.
Tammie, I love that. I'm curious, when I heard that you were going to be hosting this event in Fort Lauderdale, I first thought, well, that's not a natural choice. And then I thought, oh, that's a fabulous choice. From your point of view, why would you be hosting at Cannonball Bash?
Because I'm fun and the bears love me and I love the bears and there are some otters out there.
And do you like the bears more or the otters more?
I like everybody.
Yeah, that's great. And it's going to be a fun event, and you're going to provide quite a good tongue-in-cheek addition to the event. I want to talk about you before we get into the event and catch up. I want to talk a little bit. This is a unique opportunity for me because of so much experience that I had through the seasons with the cruise and so many of the queens about you. One of the things that I thought was interesting is you've talked a lot about your Christianity and your religion and your fear of coming out. Is what I've read about you in terms of faith and the kinds of things that you went through when you were young, is that true, and is it accurate, what is written about you online?
Well, you mean on my Wikipedia page?
Yes. Yeah.
Or because I've been practicing Nichiren Buddhism with the SGI, Soka Gakkai International. I've been practicing Buddhism since I was I've been practicing 23 years. This December will march 23 years of practicing Buddhism, and I do chant long hours, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Tina Turner, and that's how I learned about the practice. But I did grow up with a dabbling in Christianity as a child, and when I came out to myself, probably around, I think it was around the age of 12, I was in Mexico, and I thought, oh my God, well, I'm gonna be going to hell, you know. But then I was allowed to be around people of wisdom and people that would talk about different things. And growing up in Mexico, we were taught about the indigenous cultures. So I had already known that these religions were around before Christianity was delivered. So a friend of mine, I was telling her about that I was gay, you know, so to speak. And she told me, well, she goes, well, don't worry about what the Bible says or what people say in the Bible, because men wrote the Bible and men are homophobic. And Native Americans, they revered their gays, and their gays were friends and all these wonderful people. So after that, and knowing about indigenous practices from my studies in Mexico, my education as a child there, I was like, well, I'm fine because the indigenous were doing it, so there's not a problem with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we should respect our natives. That's real American, you know. real American, the whole continent, and we should respect our Native Americans and what's going on. And this practice from the Middle East, this Jesus is not white.
Interesting. I also was fascinated by some of the quotes that are attached to you about your family, and especially the quote that you said, and I just asked if it was correct, that your father was negative at first in your coming out and who you were, and was you were quoted as saying, just kill her and bury her in a hole in the backyard. But later he came around to you. Is those comments true? Is that the kind of experience you had with your father growing up?
Yes, that comment is true. Also, too, once upon a time, he told me my father was always in and out of prison, so every time he had to go to prison, it would make him harder and harder every time. And he, because of the racism and the different problems that go on in there. But anyways, he told me that it was okay for me to do drag because, or to be a transvestite, because certain women like that or that some men like to dress up. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing it to dress up for a fetish. I'm doing it because I like to dress up. There's nothing kinky going on here. And it's not, I'm not a transvestite, so to speak. I mean, partially transvestite, but I mean, I'm not doing it for sex. And I don't think most transvestites.
No, I was just going to say, did your life improve in your family, especially with your father?
Yeah, things have changed, of course, with him. Of course, they have changed,
Good. All right.
Which has been good.
One other thing that I want to remind, it's a wonderful opportunity because in your participation in season one, it really is, when you were doing season one, it was a platform, it was a show that I don't think anybody really had the vision it was going to continue to evolve and turn into what it did. And one of the perfect examples of that is something you did more than a decade ago. And I want to show this because at Queer News Tonight, we've just finished Pride Month, and at Queer News Tonight, our daily national LGBT evening news, we talk about rainbow capitalism a lot in the months leading up to June. And you were one of the early participants of what we would call rainbow capitalism by starring in a mainstream television commercial long before it was fashionable. And let me remind the audience exactly what Tammie Brown did for travel with Orbitz.
We, the queens, will take our vacation back.
Shade will be for lounging, not throwing.
We'll take in the sights and stroll on the sand. We'll have a kiki in Waikiki. Kick off our heels and put the pedal to the metal.
And let someone else work it out for a change.
We will chanter our stay. And we may never sashay away.
For the perfect trip, check out Best in Stay hotels at gayorbits.com.
Ooh, girl, there's some fish up in here.
And watch RuPaul's All-Stars Drag Race, Mondays at 9 on Logo.
That commercial was so far ahead of the curve. I mean, we look at it now over a decade later and we think, okay, but it was so far ahead of the curve. When you did that, did you know how groundbreaking that was?
Well, I will tell you what I do know is that they didn't pay us anything, hardly. $500. No residuals.
No residuals and $500. Wow.
Because I was a commercial actor prior to that. I had done that in Hollywood and stuff, commercial acting and stuff. So you'd make beautiful residuals and stuff. And if you ever had to be on unemployment, the unemployment was great because of those residuals.
Yeah. And after that issue, which is shocking, when you were filming it, did you think, wait, I'm doing something really historic here with a major brand? Orbitz is a major international travel brand. Did it wash over you that way, or it was just work?
It was just work for me, to be honest with you, just work and an honor. And what I've always dreamed about doing was, doing stuff like that in drag. And I was really thrilled to be, it shows my how much people really do like me and that I am a fan favorite to be asked to be on that because before that was even before All Stars.
Yeah, that's right. Let's talk about RuPaul's Drag Race. You came in at season 1. The sketch logo television show always made the joke about season 1. Why are you so bright, Miss RuPaul? Which is a joke that stuck for a long time. Your participation in season 1 was really groundbreaking. I think back in all of the seasons that I watched in working with so many of the queens through the years. When you were doing season 1, I'm curious of just giving the opportunity for you to comment publicly about the experience and what you were doing. Was it clear to you how groundbreaking what you were doing in season 1 was, or how did you feel about it?
Well, myself, I'm just always myself. I'm just always myself, and that's what actually shines through with me too. Is because people always do come up to me and say, "Thank you so much for being yourself," or "You inspire me so much," or "Through dark and everything," and "You're so courageous." It's just me being me, always just being myself. But I didn't know that it was going to be as big as it was, and I didn't. I mean, I was always a fan of RuPaul's and everything, but I never knew it was going to be this big. With the catchphrases and all, and how big it is around the world. And I thought it was going to be more of like a kumbaya kind of a thing. I thought we were going to be able to get together, me and the girls, and we'd be able to, I had a car, and we were going to be able to go out shopping to the garment district, and we would make things happen, but it wasn't like that. And then, World of Wonder isn't very nice.
And what does that mean?
Wow. That they're not very nice. They're just a typical Hollywood, connection. I mean, they just exploit everybody and do their thing. I think there's other like Reverie and other new platforms that are doing a lot better, even PEG, that are producing a lot of product that's nice, and they treat the clients well, so to speak, their stars well, and they don't cheat us. For example, they asked me
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Big question always asked is why I wasn't at the season 10 reunion when they brought back all the girls from season 1. Well, the reason I wasn't there is because they were offering us an abysmal amount of money, and Trixie Mattel invited me to go on the road with her down to Australia. So I had to go where the money flows. No hard feeling. You could have phoned me in via satellite like this, and I could have said hi. Why couldn't we have done that? The Beatles did it back in the 60s, so why can we not do that in the 2000s?
Was your experience when you were filming season 1 with World of Wonder doing it? They were doing something new. They had done other production products, but the first implementation of Drag Race, was the experience of the filming of season 1 good for you, or no?
It was awful experience. Just awful, because we would come into this warehouse out in the valley and the electricity would be off. We were filmed in August in the summer of 2018, and 2008, and then it came out in February, I believe, of 2009. Yeah, and then we would come in, and there was craft services, but there wasn't craft services for us. It was only for them there at World of Wonder. We were given potato chips and whatnot, so to speak. And I had come from the custom of working in Hollywood already, and music videos and commercial and all that stuff. So I was used to having beautiful setups, craft services, and being part of the craft service, being able to go out, and have whatever you want. But not with World of Wonder. No, they didn't do that for us. And I knew what I was doing. It's not my first time at the rodeo, so to speak,
Yeah.
And
in terms of what you were enduring, for example, like in the food and the heat situation, etc., was RuPaul and Michelle, were they aware of what the queens of season 1 were going through? Were they aware of it?
First of all, Michelle wasn't there. She wasn't there yet because she was off working. And I did ask
right.
Mama Ru. I said, RuPaul, darling, I said, well, where is your sidekick from the TV show that was back on in the 90s? The one on VH1, Michelle Visage. The one that got sued by Madonna?
Right. That's right.
Mm-hmm. See, I know the tea. Because VH1 used to show all this different stuff. And RuPaul, someone from World of Wonder actually told me, too, that RuPaul, the show on VH1, was canceled from VH1, the 3 seasons, because it was called the Black Drag Queen Channel. They were calling VH1 that. So they decided to pull the plug on it. Someone from World of Wonder told me that. But, you know, like with all these dramas that are going on now, RuPaul doesn't speak out about anything, you know? And the black girls on the show are being discriminated all the time. But Mama Ru never speaks out. All she says is to go and vote.
Yeah.
It's very hypocritical.
I had forgotten Michelle came in season 2. One of the highlights that so many people talk about in your participation is the fight that you had with Ru and broadcast in the show. Looking back all of these years, what do you think about those moments of those scenes, of that scene, and your participation in the show? Any thoughts today about what was filmed and what happened?
Well, like I've said before, I wasn't expecting them to show him saying the F word. I thought they would have totally, bleeped that out. You don't show that on TV, right? So I figured that would have all been cut out. But I'm not going to stand there. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and take that kind of crap from somebody who's, clearly a meat puppet, as it's called in the industry, so to speak. I'm not going to put up with that kind of behavior. And I've already been in the show business. And also, we're also queers and stuff. Why are you treating us like this? You're getting all your makeup done and everything. And I've already volunteered in the community. I was already volunteering, walking children in nature. And I was also taking care of friends of mine that are elderly. I said old ladies, but they totally cut that out and stuff. But I just thought it wasn't going to be shown.
And overall, are you happy with the participation in season 1 of the first inaugural season of RuPaul, or you're not happy with it?
Oh, I'm tickled pink, I mean, I'm thrilled that I was part of it. I deserved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And all I was on there was two shows, actually three shows, right? With that season, 3 shows on there. And I'm the one that made the most impact and still most popular to this day.
Yeah. Love that.
And what I don't get is why I haven't won a Grammy for spoken word. If, Miss Mojo, they had to do a Miss Mojo. They did one of 13 catchphrases that I've already said, 10 top ones and then 3 extra, whatever they show on Miss Mojo. But if Hillary Clinton can win a Grammy, a spoken word for It Takes a Village, where's mine for Walking Children in Nature, Watch Your Mouth, Tears in the Rain, Can't Feel No Pain, Come on Teletubbies, Teleport Us to Mars, which we are going to be doing some rebranding with that, because they've been bringing the Teletubbies, but they haven't even asked me or Manila Lazan, who totally put the Teletubbies within the brand of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah.
So we're going to rebrand it.
Yeah.
It's going to be Dominate Us to Mars, honey.
Yeah, that's great. I'm curious, in beginning in season 1, and then you do the first All Stars. Any of the queens connected with RuPaul's Drag Race that you're still real close with?
Well, I've always been close with Kelly Mantle. I see Nina. I saw her the other night. I see some of them here in Provincetown from time. And Jasmine Masters and I have always been friends. Mayhem Miller and I have always been friends. So some of them I talk to more often than others.
I can't let you get away without talking about All Stars season 8 going on. Any thoughts about the season and the finale? And any thoughts at all?
I don't know too much. Was it a horrible finale? I didn't watch it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and I was just curious if you had any particular thoughts about All Star season 8. Let's talk about Cannonball. We come back to you coming. Now, for those that don't know, viewers that don't know, 2,000 of your best bear, chub, and chaser friends are all hosted, as we've said, by Tammie Brown. It's going to be here in Fort Lauderdale, October 25th through November 1st. It's going to be at the Westin Fort Lauderdale Hotel. It's a very unique event because the event is a complete hotel buyout, but it's sitting here in what we always joke is the gayest place on planet Earth, only a couple of miles from the famous Wilton Drive. The event is unique because it's so many different kinds of things: dinners, pool parties, special trips that include transportation, to airboat rides in the Everglades, to riding on the Jungle Queen in the Millionaire's Mansions, to transfers to Wilton Drive, including a Magic Mike party at Johnson's. Look it up, it's quite fun. Parties at Eagle and other locations on Wilton Drive, and of course, arguably the biggest LGBT Halloween party in the world, Wicked Manners, as 9 blocks are closed for the largest costume Halloween party in the gay community in the country. Tell us a little bit, Tammie, what are you looking forward to doing? This is the first time you've done this. This is the 4th time that Cannonball Bash has happened. What are you looking forward to in terms of your hosting when you come down?
I'm looking forward to the people having a good time, and I'm looking forward to our safety, you know, because we could be shot down at any time and nobody's going to do anything about that, right? You know, I'm looking forward to just being there for everybody and to support Florida and what's going on. I mean, I'm here to support. Will be my 4th time this year that I'm going to be back in Florida. Florida is one of my actually favorite places. I love y'all's subtropic environment, and every time I go to the Dominican Republic, I've been out there for Buddhist retreats at FNCC, Florida Nature Culture Center. I just love Florida as much as I can go there. You have such great Cuban food and Latin food and Puerto Rican, all the different stuff, and, you know, Jewish food and Chinese. It's just, I really enjoy Florida, especially South Florida. I like the vibes.
Yeah.
And I just there to support and help out. I mean, whatever it takes.
I've heard so much talk about you in especially the bear community, about you coming and hosting the event. What do you think it is about bears that love Tammie Brown so much?
Because I'm fun, I'm accepting, I just totally live my own life, and I'm happy as a clam.
Happy as a clam. You're going to have to put that on a shirt. Tammie, I want to ask you about what's going on in Florida. The politics, the drag ban. I know you perform it. You got, I believe, early start in Los Angeles and at Hamburger Mary's, and you've performed here in Fort Lauderdale at the Wilton Hamburger Mary's. Drag is a big issue here in Florida because of our governor, Ron DeSantis' political nature of his presidential campaign. What do you think about what we're watching about the attacks on drag queens in Florida, Tennessee, and other places? What do you think about it?
Well, first of all, just to let you all know that Ron DeSantis, you know, he supported things in Guantanamo Bay and stuff, waterboarding and tortures and stuff like that. So just let's let everybody be known that he's not a very nice man, first of all. And to don't forget about Florida as well, how Anita Bryant was also from Florida, and she got the pie in the face. And I'm so thrilled that things like with Marjorie Taylor Greene and these different people are starting to get pushed out. And it's just really sad that people like this are able to spew all this nasty stuff up. But I'm really tickled that Ron DeSantis is going against Disney, and Disney's going to go against him. So
yeah, that's exactly right. We're cheering for one side, right? We're cheering for one side in that battle. Tammie Brown is going to be here in Fort Lauderdale at the end of October for Cannonball Bash. I think it's super fun and interesting. It's going to be Halloween. 2,000 bears and chubs and chasers, and just about 30 miles south of us, where the Westin Fort Lauderdale is, Ron DeSantis' home is, and just about 40 miles north of the Westin is Donald Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago, and right in the middle is going to be Tammie Brown and 2,000 Bears and Chubs. It's for Halloween. It's going to be amazing. Tammie, we thank you, and we remind everybody you can get more information on Cannonball Bash by going to their website, cannonballbash.com, and we invite you. Tammie has amazing archives in her social media, especially at TikTok and Instagram, and we invite you to go there. And Tammie Brown, thank you so much for joining us today on Unapologetically Queer.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.